Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Get Your Goat Golf podcast. It's February here in Michigan, which isn't usually the best time for a golfer. I'm excited. We got a whole bunch of snow today. Golf usually isn't even on the mind right now, but at this time of the year is actually when I really, really start thinking about golf. Part of that is because, like I said, the PGA Tour recently started. The Pebble Beach Pro-Am is going on right now. You got Rory in the field. You got Scotty Scheffler in the field. The TGL, which is something that I really didn't know how I would feel about going into it. I watched my first episode of that last Monday, and quite frankly, I liked it a lot. On a Monday or a Tuesday night on ESPN, I found myself watching pro golfers play in a simulation league, and for some reason, it looked fun. And some of that might be because it's February and I'm starting to think about golf. But then there's also this weekend coming up is the very first week of LIV Golf. So that's getting started too. So we're getting to that time of year where the golf shows are starting to come on. My social media post is starting to see things about golf. We got TGL on now. And so that gets me itching and ready to get out on the golf course. But LIV has been in the news recently, and one of the big announcements that came out like a week or two ago was the signing of Rick Shiels as a brand ambassador for LIV. And I'm a Rick Shiels fan. I like Rick Shiels. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself like a diehard fan or anything like that, but I believe I'm probably a subscriber on his YouTube channel. I've definitely watched Rick Shiels videos. I've watched Rick Shiels videos to help improve my game, but I've also watched his videos to try to inspire me and give me ideas for my own YouTube channel and podcast. And so Rick Shiels is probably the biggest YouTube golf channel out there. I know Grant Horvath is doing well now, and you got Good and Bryson DeChambeau is doing it, but he's kind of the OG. The one that got it started all and has been the biggest for a long time now. And so immediately when I saw the announcement, it didn't really have any effect on me. I was like, oh, okay, good for him. Probably getting a boatload of money for it and good for him. But what I instantly started seeing was all the hate. A bunch of posts about, sold his soul. Oh, he took the money. Nobody's going to watch your channel now. And then I saw something about him losing like 20,000 subscribers in the first couple days after the announcement. And it just made me wonder, like, why? What is all the hate for? Now, I've watched a couple other videos like Mr. Short Game and things like that kind of brought up that even though his subscribers have gone down, his views aren't going down. So it's one of those things where you get some people that just hate LIV Golf, and so anything associated with it, they're going to leave, but maybe they even still watch. But that brought me to my question, which I've never really understood, why is there all this hate for LIV Golf? I remember when LIV Golf first came around, and when I first heard about it, I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. And team format, 54 holes, things like that. I thought, it sounds cool to me. I didn't really understand what the issues was, but I remember seeing all kinds of hate for it. And then when Phil Mickelson went out, everybody dogging Phil Mickelson, and then Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson, which are all golfers that I've always been a fan of. So it kind of took me off a little bit. I didn't really understand it. Now, like I said, I'm not a big watch a ton of golf type of person anyway. Like I said, I actually probably watch more YouTube golf than I watch PGA or anything like that. I don't really know that I've even watched a whole lot of LIV. I know because of some of the TV and contracting issues that it wasn't easy to watch. Like I said, they didn't have a major TV deal. I wasn't going to pay for any type of membership specifically to see them because, like I said, I don't like watching golf like that. But to me, I liked the concept of it, and I liked those players. So to me, like I said, there was no hate from me about them. And like I said, when I see like Phil Mickelson get a $150 million contract to go to LIV at 50 something years old when he's already won several majors, I'm like, seems like a no brainer to me. Same thing. I want to say Brooks Koepka signed a $100 million contract to go over there, something like that. So to me, I didn't understand what the hate was for. And then, I started seeing some people comment about the you get that much money for not winning, and you lose some of that competitive spirit. And I get that argument. I see that often with like professional fighters. I'm a big professional fighting fan, and I've seen some of those guys that kind of blow up and they start getting those huge fights, $100 million fights, like the Conor McGregor's or even like Mike Tyson's and things like that, where once they become the champion and once they make all that money, all of a sudden they're not the same fighter that they were anymore. They don't train as hard. They don't need to train as hard. You get people that you come from the gutter and never had anything and had to work hard for everything they got, and then they get it and they don't need to work hard for it anymore. So I get that argument, but to me that's not a reason to specifically hate the league itself. I mean, to me it's not even an argument to hate the player. To me, it's like, okay, that player's not as hungry anymore. I get that. But then I started reading some of the other reasons why the people hated LIV Golf so much. And so, I mean, I get some of the arguments, but some of the arguments I don't really think hold any weight. And so I guess here's some of the reasons why I don't think the hate for LIV Golf is warranted. I mean, some of the factors actually, the criticism stems from factors that are really unrelated to the actual quality of the golf being played. But here's some of the reasons that I think they don't really hold any water. For one, I mean, to me, I think competition is good for golf. LIV's introduced a new format, shorter tournaments, team-based events, which to me appeal to a younger, more casual audience. So I think competition with the PGA Tour can actually push both organizations to innovate and improve their offerings and benefit fans and players alike. I mean, I've heard players like Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy talk about some of the things that the PGA Tour needs to do to get more engaging to fans. And to me, I like some of these things that LIV Golf is doing. And so to me, I mean, competition is good. And I think the competition will drive both to do well. So I don't really understand why there's hate because of competition. I mean, as it is right now, if the PGA Tour is the only game in the business, then they don't have to do anything different. They don't have to worry about changing this or changing that. I mean, to me, it only motivates them to put a better product out there. And like I said, I like the things that they're doing. The second thing is, player freedom. To me, I don't get this, loyalty and things like that. Player freedom to me is a good thing. LIV Golf has provided players with an alternative to the traditional PGA Tour model, gives them freedom to choose where and how often they play while getting good money to do so. I mean, to me, this flexibility really respects the players' careers, their personal lives. I mean, if you think about how long and gruesome the PGA Tour can be, especially to the ones that aren't winning tournaments every week, I mean, that's a huge commitment, a huge time away from the family. So to me, if I'm a player, especially a player that's already won some, like the Brooks Koepkas and the Dustin Johnsons, to hey, we're going to pay you all this money up front. You don't have to win anything. We're going to pay you all this money up front. only have to play 14 tournaments. The tournaments are 54 holes. They're 3 days instead of 4. I mean, to me, why wouldn't you want to do something like that? So, to me, that's, like I said, I think the player freedom is important and allows them to have options, and I don't think anybody should be held to a negative standard for doing that. The other thing what LIV Golf is really doing is it's globalizing the game. I mean, several of their tournaments are in other countries. I mean, it's taking golf to markets that don't always get attention from the PGA Tour, and that helps grow the sport internationally. Now, I mean, I guess some people, and one of the biggest things that I've heard is that the funding behind LIV Golf and the global reach it fosters really shouldn't be overlooked. But I mean, the criticism about the funding, I'll get into that a little bit later. I understand that. I understand people saying, "Oh, it's blood money" or things like that. I understand that argument. I'm not going to gloss over that. To me, that's actually one of the stronger arguments is where this money is coming from to fund this league. But I'll talk a little bit later why that isn't a good argument either. One of the things that I've heard about is the criticism rooted in the tradition of the game. A lot of the backlash comes from like golf purists who dislike LIV's golf disrupting golf's traditional structure. But I mean, every major innovation in sports, like the creation of the Ryder Cup or the creation of the Masters, those initially faced resistance before becoming absolutely beloved and major parts of what everybody loves about golf. So I think it's the resistance to change that always just comes in almost everything. Every time there's something new that changes the landscape of things, it always gets criticized originally before. I mean, sometimes it doesn't work out, but sometimes, like the Masters and the Ryder Cup, no, those are absolutely beloved parts of the game. And the attracting talent. I mean, LIV has signed some top-notch players, some of the best golfers in the world. So, it's kind of proving that it is a legitimate company. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, players like Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Brooks Koepka, John Rahm. I mean, those players have still demonstrated that they can compete at the highest level, even playing in LIV's format 14 weeks a year. Like, so that's one of the criticisms that I heard before is, oh, they're playing weak competition. So then when they get into like these major tournaments and they're playing the best in the world, they just don't have it. But several of these guys have come and still won majors, and several of these guys, when they play in the PGA Tours, still end up in the top 5, still end up in the top 10. So, to me, I don't really think that argument really holds weight. I think the fact that LIV is injecting fun into the game is good. I mean, they've added a new energy. With more casual fan engagement, louder events, quicker formats. And I think some fans and some of the younger fans prefer this to the traditional slower paced tournaments. I mean, like I said, sometimes during the summer, I'll turn a golf tournament on and I fall asleep on the couch. And when you're talking about 4 days of tournament, I mean, it's boring. I mean, sometimes it doesn't get exciting until that last day if it's a close match. So, like I said, the slower pace and even in the PGA Tour, you don't have the top names always in it. And so, except to me, it's a hard product to watch. So, I think some of the things that LIV is doing with the team format, the faster pace, the shorter number of rounds, things like that, to me, that's a good thing. And I think that's going to attract more people to the game. Now, I told you earlier we'd get back into the whole funding. And so here's where I think there's hypocrisy in the funding aspect of it. Like I said before, to me, it's the strongest argument is the funding. Oh, we don't like it because of what it's funded through. I mean, the financial backing from LIV is from what's called the Saudi Public Investment Fund. And so what people talk about is they're trying to whitewash themselves and where they're getting their money from, and trying to associate themselves with golfs and all these other leagues to get over what horrible atrocities that they've done. And I like that argument. That's a good argument. And so when you hear something like that, okay, it's like, I get that. However, what those critics often overlook when they're looking at that is how many corporations and organizations, including some sponsors of the PGA Tour, also do business with Saudi Arabia and other controversial regimes. So just kind of singling out that, oh, LIV is backed by them, is kind of hypocritical when they don't have any issues with the sponsors of the other companies that are involved with PGA Tour being sponsored or backing those type of situations as well. It seems like it's only a problem now that this golf league that's challenging the PGA Tour is funded by them, when there's plenty of other things and other corporations that nobody has any issues with that are getting funded by those exact same things. I don't hear any hypocrisy for the Saudi Arabia funding boxing matches and MMA matches and things like that, or soccer leagues and things like that. They don't have any issues with that. For some reason, it's just with this golf tour. So, to me, that's a little hypocritical. If you have an issue with the Saudi Arabia and those kind of regimes and things like that, then you should have a problem with everything that they're in, not just with golf. So, like I said, I think LIV Golf, the criticism of LIV Golf is fair if you focus on specific aspects like how its format fits into the larger golf ecosystem. But like I said, dismissing it entirely ignores the potential to evolve the game and expand its reach. Like I said, going back to the funding thing, like I said, I mean, if you think of some of the sponsors and partnerships that the PGA Tour has right now, like Coca-Cola, FedEx, those are major tour sponsors, and they do business with Saudi Arabia. They do business with Saudi-funded entities. Even the DP World Tour, formerly the European Tour, which has aligned with the PGA Tour, has hosted events in Saudi Arabia. And so, even before the LIV started, players like Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, and others participated in Saudi international tournaments, which were openly sponsored by the Saudi government. And those events didn't draw nearly the same outrage. So, like I said, I think there's a broader corporate double standard. Like I said, many major corporations in the United States, like I said, many that sponsor the PGA Tour, has business dealings or investments, partnerships. Like I said, just think of things like, Apple, Amazon, Google, some of the major corporations in the world. These tech giants all have substantial investments or partnerships in Saudi Arabia. But I don't hear anybody criticizing those big companies. Hollywood, Saudi Arabia has been heavily investing in entertainment, Hollywood films, all those type of things to help diversify its economy, and these ventures aren't scrutinized. So, like I said, it kind of goes back to this whole sports washing controversy, which I keep hearing. They said they're sports washing, using golf or other sports to improve Saudi Arabia's global image. And like I said, there's some merit to that, but it's hypocritical to just single those out. When you look at like F1 racing, Saudi Arabia hosts the Formula One Grand Prix annually, funded by the same PIF. I've never once heard any backlash from that. World Cup, boxing, Qatar faced accusations of hosting the 2022 FIFA World Cup, but it was widely celebrated once the games begun. Similarly, Saudi Arabia has hosted numerous high-profile boxing matches with no outrage whatsoever. So, like I said, I think it's more of a selective moral outrage. They focus heavily on Saudi Arabia's human rights record when attacking LIV Golf, but like I said, other sports leagues and organizations partner with countries or entities that have equally problematic records. And like I said, no issue. Like, just an example. Like I said, let's talk about China. China is absolutely partnered with the NBA, and the NBA has faced some criticism in dealing with the China, but China has all kinds of human rights abuses, but that outrage faded quickly. I remember hearing about it at the very beginning, but never heard anything about it since. Uh, Russia. Russia, before recent events, Russia's money was deeply used and embedded in global sports and soccer, little backlash whatsoever. So a lot of what's going on too, I think the players are kind of being used as scapegoats. I mean, the players, Rick Shiels, have all been given titles as taking Saudi money or selling out, but like I said, that same scrutiny is very rarely applied to other athletes or industries. And golf players are different than teams, and they're independent contractors, and they pursue their financial interests and security and flexibility and choices that countless other individuals and other industries make without the same type of backlash. Like I said, I have no issues with Rick Shiels taking whatever money he got to do that. Like I said, he wasn't affiliated with the PGA Tour. And if some of the rumors that I've heard are true, he's getting like somewhere in the realm of $10 million to go out and film content and be an ambassador to the game. I mean, isn't that the goal? Isn't that what he wants to do, is make money doing the things that he loves to do, making golf content, being involved in golf. And so how can you hate or say somebody sold out for that? I mean, would you turn down $10 million to film golf content because and because you're worried you would sell out? I highly doubt that would be the case. So, and just recently too, I mean, there's been this merging. The PGA has decided to merge with the LIV Golf's Saudi-founded funding partner. So, I mean, that further kind of talks more into the hypocrisy of it. I mean, after years of condemning the law, LIV's Golf backing, the tour aligns itself with the same funding source, proving to me that it really had nothing to do with the moral arguments at all. It was more about the financial interests. And that's what a lot of things have to do with anyway, is the financial interests. What I find funny is a lot of the things that I heard people complaining about the LIV situation, the team aspect of it, the music and the party atmosphere of it, is exactly what the TGL did to incorporate into their event, with the team format, entrance themes, and things like that. I mean, a lot of what the TGL has done has come directly from what LIV is doing, but since it was considered almost like a PGA thing, it's now okay. So, like I said, I just don't get the hypocrisy of it. To me, it's all a money thing. Like I said, I'm a fan of golf. I just like playing golf. I like certain personalities in golf, and those are the people that I follow and pay attention to. So quite frankly, and I think Rick Shiels kind of said the same thing, is both PGA and LIV are kind of taking a back seat now to YouTube golf. YouTube golf is, for the younger crowd, is more entertaining. I mean, you can go and watch your favorite YouTube golfer do a whole 18 rounds and talk about it and see that, and maybe like a 45-minute clip or an hour with them doing whatever they want to do, compared to watching 6-7 hours of the PGA Tour, and like I said, falling asleep on the couch. So like I said, I get most of my golf content from YouTube and TikTok and Instagram as well. Like I said, but like I said, I think Bryson DeChambeau has done a fantastic job of really stepping into that niche as well. I mean, he's a big golfer. He's won major tournaments. He's popular, but then he starts his own YouTube channel, and it just starts blowing everything out of the water. And what a 180 he's done. I mean, I can remember how douchey everybody thought he was, and how a lot of people didn't like him, to now he's probably the most popular golfer out there. And a lot of that has to do with his YouTube channel, and he's become this likable person that everybody feels like they would love to go golf with. And so, like I said, I think some of those players, and you get the Grant Horvaths that are partnering up with, like Phil Mickelson, and now I think Rick Shiels is going to start partnering up with some of these other people as well. Like I said, I think the PGA Tour and the LIV Tour need to both kind of go into that realm and go more into what the consumer is actually liking, because the product that they have right now just isn't really manageable. And I think the PGA is starting to recognize that. I think LIV is going to start growing a little bit more now that they've actually signed some type of TV agreement where they're actually going to be televised, where you can watch them. And like I said, and the YouTube golfers, the YouTube people, they're collaborating with some of these LIV guys. Like I said, you see Phil Mickelson, you see Bryson DeChambeau, you see those kind of people starting to get on these YouTube and things like that. I think it's just going to grow the sport. Like I said, I'm not a LIV supporter. I'm not a LIV hater, but I'm not a PGA supporter, not a PGA hater. I just like golf. I want to play golf. I like to watch the people that I like to watch. I don't care what tour they're on. And so, to me, I don't get the LIV hate. And to me, it looks like they're in it for the long haul. And I think, like I said, when I think it's all said and done, I think it's going to be good for both tours to have that type of competition and have that kind of thing going. It's almost a versus type thing, which could be fun. And so, like I said, I'm here for it. I'm going to watch both. I'm going to support both. I'm going to watch the TGL. I'm going to support the golfers that I like. I'm going to watch the YouTube golfers. I'm going to keep creating my own content. And hopefully, maybe one day I'll be one of those YouTube golfers that everybody's talking about. But you can only hope. But as long as I'm out there playing golf and having fun, that's what I'm here for. So, hey, thanks for watching the episode. Like I said, all the support helps. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Amazon, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook, all those major things. Check them all out. Subscribe, comment. Tell me what you'd like to see. Tell me what your thoughts are. Is the LIV hate warranted, or is it just very hypocritical and more about money? Tell me what you think. Either way, I'm going to watch it.